All right. Hopefully my video looks good. It doesn't really look like, but welcome everyone to a the first show in a long while. Let me just Jesus Christ. If you look, my glasses are not looking that perfect. But yes, today everyone, welcome back. The return of the El Toro show today. Obviously talking about La Liga football and all things about that as well. Before we get started, AD says my lunch break just ended, and then yet you barely appear in my chat. So I'm just saying. But anyways, we are going to be talking about La Liga football as always. Before we get started, please do hit the like button on the stream. Subscribe to the channel right here. Follow me on X on Twitter as well. And yeah, let's might as well get straight into it with the first game, which actually happens tonight. Yes, that is. There is a game tonight. It is Barcelona against Osasuna. Now, we actually did preview this game about like a few weeks ago, but unfortunately, this game had to be rescheduled to today due to the passing of one of the first team staff at Barcelona. So, descansa en paz, rest in peace. Obviously, it's very unfortunate and upsetting what has happened, and obviously thoughts are with the family and friends of those involved. But yeah, we're going straight into the game now. Of course, as I said, we did preview this game earlier when it actually was meant to happen. But when we just look at the live stats, the win probability 78% likely for Barcelona, 13% for a draw, and 9% for a win. I think it's been about 2 game weeks already that both of these teams haven't played each other. Barcelona obviously got back-to-back wins in La Liga. Had this fixture been played at the normal time, it would have been. Meanwhile, Osasuna, you kind of have to scroll all the way down to 14th. Not struggling in terms of the relegation battle, but they are struggling to pick up wins. They barely have a win. I think they have like 1 or 2 wins in La Liga since New Year. So it's not been great for Osasuna this year, and they've been struggling very recently as we are about to enter April. But yeah, in terms of this game, right, I know I talked about some of the match stats, kind of have to scroll down. But yeah, basically, Barcelona and Osasuna, Osasuna's record isn't that great when it comes to these sort of matchups in La Liga because Osasuna have never done the double in La Liga against Barcelona ever. But they did beat Barcelona, if anyone remembers, that 4-2 win that Osasuna had earlier in the season, which was actually Barcelona's first loss in La Liga that season, which I wouldn't say really had the downfall in Barcelona at that time, but yeah, obviously Osasuna definitely got a massive win there against Barcelona. Meanwhile, obviously at home, Barcelona have won the last 4 games against Osasuna, keeping a clean sheet in all of them. Yeah, and obviously Osasuna were the last team to have scored 4 goals in a La Liga match against Barcelona. Obviously, the most recent one was Atleti in that Copa del Rey game first leg, which ended 4-4. But if they somehow score 4 goals as well, that'll be crazy. Osasuna again, especially away at Barcelona. Barcelona have won each of the last 7 La Liga games plus an extra 2. So yeah, Barcelona are probably the most informed team right now in Europe. But when they were in a very, very good run of form in terms of winning every single game, that ended with Osasuna beating them. Meanwhile, Barcelona are obviously on track to go on and score at least 100 goals this season. And this home game against Osasuna does look very, very interesting for Barcelona to get a win. And I don't remember the exact scoreline predicted, but obviously kind of have to do a little bit of a new preview of the game. I'm going with a 3-0 win for Barcelona. I know Rafinha's not in the squad today due to international break, but I'm going with a 3-0 win for FC Barcelona. As we move on, yes, that's right, we do move on. And obviously, please do vote in the live poll as well. We do move on. We have Real Sociedad against Valladolid on Saturday. So there's no Friday night kickoff, but obviously, as I said, there's a game tonight. Real Sociedad against Real Valladolid. Obviously, both teams bit meh. Well, obviously, Valladolid are been shit. But I would say I wouldn't be surprised if Sociedad fucks themselves up as well. Kind of similar to the game we just previewed. Sociedad, massive advantage as the home side, 72%, 19 for a draw, and only 9% for a Valladolid win. But I don't even remember the last time Valladolid won a match. I'll be honest. I think I literally cannot remember. I genuinely cannot remember. But Sociedad, look, we talk about Osasuna struggling. Look at Sociedad; they've been struggling. They've been knocked out of the Europa League. Obviously to Man United, so they're out of all of Europe. And I'll be honest, I think Sociedad are not getting back into Europe by the end of this season. I just don't think they'll make the top 7, top 8 unless they win the Copa. But it seems unlikely that they'll beat Real Madrid in the semis because they are behind 1 goal in that one. But yeah, as for Valladolid, I mean, they've had 2 back-to-back losses. They've only scored 18 goals all season, which is stupidly crazy. But look, I don't really trust Sociedad's record overall in these sort of games. Now, look, they are only 4 points behind 8th place Celta and only just 5 points behind Mallorca with the same number of games played. So Sociedad, they do have that opportunity that they can rise up the table eventually and maybe get into Europe. But I'll be honest, they've been really inconsistent. Like they had 13 losses, whereas Valladolid, I know, have 20, but like Leganés and Espanyol and Alavés have the same number of losses as Sociedad. Like Sociedad are actually joint 3rd worst in terms of losing the most games in La Liga this season, which is really, really terrible for Sociedad. And I think they'll continue that. Not in this game. I do think they'll get a win, a home win at least against Valladolid. Because if they don't, then mate, you might as well give up on them. I'll be honest. And also, Sociedad, they don't score many goals. They've only scored 25 all season. Even Espanyol have scored more. Like, if I'm trying to look, right, apart from Valladolid, I think every single team, even including Getafe, right, every single team, Sociedad have the 2nd worst attack. Oh, I don't know what just happened. I moved to a Sociedad page. They have the 2nd worst attack, Sociedad. So I'll be honest, I really, really do not see a way whereby Sociedad score many goals in this game. This could just be like a 1-0 type of game. I really don't see much. But I'll go with a 2-0 win for Sociedad. I just think that obviously they're just way better of a quality team over Valladolid. So I'm going with a 2-0 win for Sociedad against Valladolid. So they'll pick up a win. Jesus Christ, I have to scroll all the way down. Next up, we have is Espanyol against Atlético Madrid. Now, obviously, Atleti have, we didn't talk about, but they had a 2-goal lead against Barcelona and squandered it, losing 4-2 in their previous game against them. Espanyol, meanwhile, they've been okay. They've been okay. I honestly kind of forgot who they played in the previous game week, but they did lose. So not great. But yeah, going into this fixture, both teams obviously, Atleti just lost back-to-back games in La Liga. Meanwhile, for Espanyol, it's not been amazing. But I've always said I think Espanyol are just more than good enough to maybe survive relegation, maybe like even 17th this season. But yeah, when you look at the win probability, I know it's played in Espanyol, their stadium, but it's only 15% win probability for them, 24% for a draw, and 61% for a win for Atleti. Now, I know in terms of the table, Atleti are 4 points behind first place and second, uh, 60 and 56 points, potentially 7 points behind should Barcelona win tonight, which you probably will expect them to. So yeah, this season I wouldn't say is tailing off, but it's been one of the worst weeks for Atletico a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, they do need to at least find a bit of form, and I do think they'll start to pick up and win some games that they've really been needing all throughout um, this campaign. Now, obviously, they have the Copa del Rey game to look out for, but you know what? I think they will get maybe something in this game. And I'm actually going with an Atletico Madrid win, an away win, um, to kind of bounce back from their elimination from the Champions League and all that. Whereas for Espanyol, I think they can give it a good game, I'll say. So I think they might score actually, Espanyol, even though Atleti do have probably one of the best defenses in the league. I know they just conceded 4 to Barcelona, but still. But I'm going with a 2-1 win for Atleti. I don't think it will be pretty, but I think they'll just get the job done. So I'm going with a 2-1 win for Atletico Madrid. Next game, we do have is Alavés against Rayo Vallecano. Um, Look, this game for both teams have different aspects, different reasonings. Now, Alavés at 42% win probability, 32% for a draw, 26% for a Vallecano win. Now, when you look at the league table, Vallecano at one point were, I think, sixth and were really, really pushing to get into the Champions League potentially. I know it was never going to happen, but look, Vallecano not been in great run of form ever since that loss to Barcelona 5-6 weeks ago. Vallecano's form, they were 9 games unbeaten. Now they're like, I believe it's now 5 or 6 games winless. I think it's 6 games because I know they had a 3-game losing streak. So I do think that Vallecano do have to pick up some bit of form to get themselves back into contention. I do think they are good enough to be picking up wins from now. And I do think they'll turn their season around, Vallecano. I really hope they do make into Europe. I do have a Vallecano shirt with me, not wearing it now, but yeah, for Rayo Vallecano, I do think that for the most part, it is going to be a bit of a struggle against a team of Alavés who are playing at home, but are technically unbeaten in the last 3 games, and are actually out of the relegation zone. Even though that is by at the moment just goal difference ahead of Leganés. But yeah, when you look at the league table for Alavés, it's not looking good, but they really do need to be picking up some wins here and there throughout the rest of this season in order to survive and avoid relegation, which would be a huge, huge fall off from Alavés if they were to get relegated. But yeah, my prediction, I don't know. I just feel like Vallecano, they're going to get themselves back into at least some winning form. So I'm actually going for a Rayo Vallecano win. I'm going with another 2-1 away win. In this one, I'm going 2-1 for Rayo Vallecano over Alavés. So an away win for Rayo as they try to get themselves back into potential European contention. All right. Next up, we have is Real Madrid and Leganés. Real Madrid against Leganés on Saturday night, 9 p.m. Obviously, Real Madrid, they've been picking up wins now, and look, this is probably one of the biggest win probabilities, or well, the smallest 5% win probability for Leganes at 5%, 11% for a possible draw, and 84 for a Real Madrid win. Obviously, I did a watch long for Real Madrid's previous game, which was like almost 7,000 years ago. When they beat Villarreal, obviously Kylian Mbappe scoring 2 goals in that game. Nico had a hat trick, but yeah, Real Madrid finally picking up back-to-back wins in La Liga. Looks almost likely they're going to get a third straight win and be in that sort of contention of fighting with Barcelona for that title. And maybe should Atleti somehow not pick up points against Espanyol, Real Madrid could also pull themselves away from the city rivals of Atleti. So yeah, it is looking a bit likely and possible we could see a 2-horse race, but I do not doubt that there could be a 3-horse race come the end of April, because we are in the end of March. So I think in the end of April, we will either see a 2-horse race be developed for sure, or a 3-horse race. But for Real Madrid, I think at the moment things look a bit bright for them. Obviously, they're in the Champions League quarterfinal. They play Arsenal. Meanwhile, when you look at Leganes, they're in the relegation zone, despite that win over here was against the big rivals Getafe in 2-3 weeks ago. But yeah, since then they've lost games. And again, just like Real Madrid getting back-to-back wins, could be adding a third. This one could be Leganes getting back-to-back losses. It just seems like I really do not see how Leganes are going to pull off a potential upset against Real Madrid. So I'll be honest, I do think that this will be a Real Madrid win. I just really do not see how Leganes are going to do it. I could see it being a big one, actually. And I'm actually going for a massive 4-0 win for Real Madrid. I don't really predict big scorelines, but I could see this being a 4-0 type of scoreline. So I'm going with Real Madrid to win against Leganes 4-0. That is my prediction for that game. Up next, we start with the Sunday games now. We have the early one being Getafe against Villarreal on Sunday at 2 o'clock. Now, when you look at the win probability, it's a little bit even-ish, I would probably say. Obviously, I do think that both teams are in a bit of a different sort of situation in terms of really trying to get where they want to be. Getafe at 30% win, a draw at 30%, Villarreal 40% win, just because maybe they're a little bit higher up in the table. But actually, Villarreal have back-to-back losses, even though they do have a game at hand. But they are tied on points with the most informed team, Real Betis, at the moment. We'll talk about Betis later. But Villarreal, look, not been that great overall. And they really need to be picking up some points, because that before that the 2 back-to-back losses for Villarreal, I thought Villarreal were almost a lock to get into the potential 5th place or the top 5, because it's almost I would say certain that La Liga, we will get 5 teams in the Champions League next season. And it seems like the top 4 is kind of going to be that top 4 of Barca, Real Madrid, Atleti, and Athletic, in whichever order it is. So it's really a battle, it seems, at the moment between Villarreal, Betis, and I think that's probably it. I don't see any team picking up consistent number of points from now. So Villarreal and Betis, and they play each other very soon in Villamarín, in Betis, in Seville. But yeah, Villarreal, they need to be picking up points before that game as well to at least bring up some form for themselves. Meanwhile, for Getafe, it's been back-to-back wins since that derby loss that they got over against Leganes. The 2 wins that they got, massive wins, obviously one being against Atleti, which was a huge win for them. And they're only, when you look at it, they're only 8 points behind Villarreal for that Champions League spot. I don't think they'll get it, Getafe. But it is interesting to see how they will do about their business in this game against Villarreal. But I'll be honest, right? I could potentially see this being, I don't know, I don't really think of it as an upset, but I could actually see Getafe getting a win here as well. So I'm actually, to be honest, I could actually see this being a Getafe win. I'll be honest. So I'm going for a a win for Getafe. I'm going for a narrow, kind of boring 1-0 win for Getafe. I think they could get the job done. So 1-0 to Getafe is my prediction. All right. Next up, I know we kind of touched on Barcelona, but we all talking about Barcelona, and it is a derby. Jesus Christ. It is a derby. It's a Catalonian derby, derby de Catalan, Catalunya. Obviously, not the major one of Barca against Espanyol, but it is Barcelona against Girona. Obviously, both Catalan clubs, so both teams obviously fighting in that sort of rivalry. Now, obviously, Barcelona has 76% to win this, just like they had with the game tonight against Osasuna. 14% for a draw and 10% for a Girona win. Now, obviously, if you guys remember last season, Girona actually beat Barcelona, I believe 4-2 at Barcelona's home ground, if I'm not mistaken, last season. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone's in the chat watching. But yeah, I do think that overall that this is going to be a huge, huge game for Barcelona. Obviously, if they pick up a win against Osasuna, there's a chance that they could potentially go even clearer of at least third place Atleti. If Atleti don't pick up wins here in the game on Saturday, I believe. So Barcelona, they have to be picking up back-to-back wins over the next couple of days, starting with the game tonight against Osasuna, and then playing a big game against Girona, which obviously is a potential watch long. You guys could be voting in the live poll, Barcelona against Girona, or the upcoming game we'll talk about, Athletic Club against Osasuna. So that's the other one. But yeah, I do think that overall, Barcelona, Girona, look, we've already talked about Barca. As for Girona, they're just a bit of a meh. Like they're okay, but they're not. I've always told people I don't think Girona and now Sociedad. I don't think both of them both have been in Europe this season. Now both eliminated. I don't think either will have the consistency to get into the European spots. I just think that both have not been that great. And that probably means that Girona, I just don't see them picking up a win here against Barcelona. But I think it will be competitive than maybe some people would think. That's just my take. And I do think that Girona will make Barcelona work in this one. Probably because Barca do play 3 days earlier, whereas Girona have the entire weekend and a week to rest. So I do think there might be a little bit of fatigue from Barcelona, but I'm still backing Barcelona to win just based on quality and maybe Rafinha coming back because he isn't going to play tonight, but Rafinha is almost certainly going to play in this game against Girona. But I will go with let's go with a bit of a surprise, you could say. Barcelona still to win, I'll say that. But I'm going with a 3-2 win for Barcelona. I do think that this could be a very good game just because there might be fatigue and maybe Girona might actually turn up. Which I think they might, but maybe just the quality will outshine Girona. So I'll say a 3-2 win for Barcelona. So that means this weekend and all, starting tonight as well, they will pick up back-to-back wins in La Liga. All right, next up, it is Valencia against Mallorca. Obviously, Valencia trying to survive relegation, whereas Mallorca maybe trying to get into Europe if possible. That would be some story if they do. They almost got into Europe last season, but didn't due to them almost winning the Copa del Rey, which is still crazy to almost think that they would have done that. But Valencia at 45% to win, 30% for a draw, 25% for a Mallorca win. Now, we'll first talk about the away side, Mallorca. They've been a good bit of form right now. They didn't really have a good run of form before, but now they've picked up. They've been unbeaten in the last 5. And And yeah, I do think that Mallorca are, in a nice, comfortable position. At the moment, I believe they are in a European spot, which is really good for them. So look, if they can pick up just a few more wins throughout the remainder of the season, they're already on 11 wins, which is crazy. Um, they have more wins than losses. Just saying. So yeah, I do think that Mallorca could do something in terms of getting into Europe. I don't think it'll be Champions League. I just don't think they have that consistency in them over Villarreal or Betis. But I do think that a potential sixth or even seventh place finish or eighth place almost seems like it'll get at least some form of European football, Europa or Conference League. So for Mallorca, it is going to be interesting to see if they can keep up. But they're looking good at the moment. Meanwhile, Valencia, look, not great, but they're no longer really in the relegation zone, and not many people are putting Valencia in that relegation group at the moment. But obviously, the bottom six are the teams that you think are the realistic ones fighting for relegation. I've always said Espanyol will stay up. If Valencia continue their form, because Valencia have not lost to anyone else apart from the big three or the top three. They've lost to Real Madrid, they've lost to Barcelona, they've lost to Atlético Madrid, but against every single other team since the new year, Valencia have not lost, which is crazy. No one, I'm probably one of the only person that's still that has said about that stat about Valencia. So, look, I think Valencia they can get a potential. I could see them getting a win here against Mallorca, and really putting some bit of form that really pushes Valencia kind of away from that relegation zone and really put the troubles for everyone else. I said Espanyol will stay up eventually somehow. If Valencia do stay up, I do think a team like Las Palmas are almost certain to go down now. Valladolid are shit, so we don't have to bother. And it's really between Alavés and Leganés for that other relegation spot, which is going to be a hell for whichever team is going to survive and get safety by the end of the season. But yeah, Valencia, I think they can get a win here, and I'm going to say they will. I think Valencia can get a win. So I'm going with I'll go with an actual very good big performance from them. Why not? I'm going with a 3-1 win for Valencia. I think they can get the job done in this game against Mallorca. So I'm going 3-1 for Valencia. And then now the next game, and before we do, let me quickly just go to the chat. Ryan G, I don't really remember you being in my chat in any of my streams, but big up to you. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you're enjoying this show. I don't really, I do talk about La Liga football now on my channel, and I want to make it a bit more of a thing now. But yeah, big up to Ryan G if you have any thoughts, and vote in the live poll which game I should be doing a live watch along for. At the moment, it seems more likely I'm doing the Catalonian derby of Girona, but we'll see by the end of the show. But big up to Ryan G. And anyone else that's joined, please do hit the like button on the stream. Subscribe to the channel and follow me on X on Twitter as well. Obviously, I'll do a live watch along for a game on the weekend, whichever one you guys vote in the live poll. Now, let's actually get into the remainder of the preview for La Liga. Now, we do have next, that's happening at the same time as Valencia against, I already forgot. Valencia and Mallorca is Athletic Club against Osasuna. Now, obviously, Athletic Club, bit of a rough-ish patch, but they're getting there. Osasuna, obviously, they play tonight against Barcelona, and it's another travel. But look, from Pamplona to Barcelona and then go to Bilbao is not that long of a distance anyway. It is long, but not like a fucking far distance for them. But yeah, win probability 64% for Athletic, 22% for a draw, and 14% for a Osasuna win. We'll first get into Athletic Club now. Athletic Club, unfortunately, did end their long unbeaten streak in this game. I'll quickly just go to the chat. Avanji, I've been in here before a while ago, seeing you in streams. Yeah, obviously, yeah, I've been on a few of Strasbourg Steve's streams, especially if he ever does La Liga. But I know Strasbourg Steve doesn't really do La Liga. But I've been trying to tempt him to support Deportivo La Coruña, but it seems like he's becoming. Look, I might as well just push him to become a Sociedad fan, unfortunately. But I voted for Barca as I consider them my second team. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. And obviously, I'll do a watch long if that is the game that's selected. But yeah, going back to Athletic Club, yeah, the long unbeaten one in La Liga ended to Atletico a few weeks ago. Obviously, now Athletic Club have picked up some form. They progressed into the Europa League quarterfinal where they will play against Rangers. I'm hoping, and I'm entirely unsure, but I would hope I can get a ticket to that game. I do not think I will. That's the thing. I don't think I will, unfortunately. I would love to go to Bilbao. Um, so if anyone in Bilbao, if you have a place to stay, I would love it. I would love it. I'll be grateful. But yeah, Athletic Club in a bit of a bounce back, especially with Nico Williams, which people have said he's been having a bad season, and I totally agree. Nico has had a really bad season, but in the past few games, he's actually been picking up Nico. Obviously, watched them in the Nations League with Spain. Obviously, well, did he score? Well, he did score in the first leg against Netherlands, but he did do quite decently well in the game against them in the second leg as well. And obviously, we won. Spain made it into the Nations League semi-final. So that's good. And it seems like Nico's finally getting himself into a very good run of form, which is like something I've been praying that he should be getting now. But yeah, Athletic Club, look, even though Nico's been having a bad season, the fact that Athletic Club are still in the Europa League quarterfinal and they're potentially almost certainly getting into the Champions League, regardless whether they win or not win the Europa League, it's a really, really good season for Athletic Club. Hopefully for them, they win the Europa League. I kind of hope they do, and they are the favorites, you would say. But yeah, I think the fact that Nico's been having a quote unquote shit season and Athletic Club are probably going to get Champions League football shows just how good this Athletic Club team has been all season. Meanwhile, we scroll down. We talked about Osasuna earlier in the show when we previewed Barcelona Osasuna, which happens in about 2.5 hours from now. I'm not watching it because I have something to do at that time. But obviously, I'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, my prediction for Athletic Club against Osasuna. Look, I just think that Osasuna is just going to struggle for a little bit more, just a little bit more. So I'm going with a 2-0 win for Athletic Club. I just don't really see too much in this Osasuna team at the moment that makes me feel like they can get something. And Athletic Club, maybe they'll continue to build on progress heading into the game. So I'm going with a 2-0 win for Athletic Club. Now, let me go through the chat as well. I like Sanchez from Bilbao. Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, same scoreline. I said 2-0 as well. But yeah, next game is Real Betis against Sevilla. Oh, I know I'm not doing this game as a watch long because I already watched Betis very recently and Sevilla. Okay, but this is the biggest derby in Spain. I know people will say El Clasico, but me, obviously, as a Deportivista, as a Deportivo fan, of course, I'm going to say Deportivo against Celta Vigo is the biggest derby. But in terms of anyone else in Spain, this is a huge derby, Betis against Sevilla. And obviously, if you were to ask me which one I want to win, I will 110%, like, I 110% hope that Betis get the win here. Please. They're on a run of 6 games already. 6 wins for Betis. Sevilla a bit meh. 50% win probability for Betis, 27 for a draw, 23% for Sevilla win. Now, obviously, the previous fixture earlier this season, I believe Sevilla won by a goal to nil or 2-1. But yeah, the tables have turned. Anthony, the GOAT, I mean, he will cook. Anthony, the GOAT, he will cook. Prayers. Pray for Sevilla. Pray for Sevilla. But yeah, Betis. Look, if you look, they are in serious. There's a chance that Anthony, if he does stay at Betis for next season, Betis and Anthony in the Champions League, you might as well just say Betis are winning it all in the Betis will win the Champions League next season, and a huge help would be if they beat the big rival Sevilla on Sunday night. Meanwhile, for Sevilla, they are a bit behind, but they're not doing terrible, Sevilla. So yeah, it's going to be tough to call. But look, I'll be honest. I really, really want Betis to win. I would love to see it. I would love it. I would love it. So you know what? Whenever I'm going preview about Betis, I'm just going to predict a win, no matter what. I'm going for Real Betis 7-0. No, okay. I'll be a bit more realistic. I'll go 1-0. I'll go with a 1-0. Anthony, the GOAT, he will score the biggest goal of his career. I'm going for Real Betis 1, Sevilla 0, and Betis will continue on a very good hot streak of form, and they will overtake Villarreal by the end of this weekend. We'll see. And then the final game to preview of the weekend. Fucking hell. I have to talk about fucking Vigo, Celta. Okay. YNG says Betis in good form, won 4 of the last 5. Actually, they won 6 in a row, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Well, based off my memory, 6 wins in a row. In terms of La Liga, I know they didn't win one of the Conference League games, but still, Anthony, GOAT. But yeah, heading into this game, Jesus, as I said, Jesus fucking Christ, I have to talk about fucking Vigo. All right, here we go then. Celta Vigo against Las Palmas. The Portuguese against Las Palmas. I kind of hope Las Palmas win. But yeah, previewing this game, 61% win probability for Vigo, 22% for draw, and 17% for Las Palmas win. Obviously, and unfortunately, Celta Vigo are in 8th place. Yay. And have not lost a game in a long time. Yay. And then for Las Palmas, they are still the only team in La Liga that has not won a single game in 2025. I will say this. I would fucking love it if their first win of the entire year is against Celta. Oh, God. Betis and Las Palmas winning? Perfect. Perfect. And also, well, we'll talk about Deportivo a bit later on the show, but do I think Las Palmas can actually get a win here? It wouldn't surprise me. Celta, fucking hell, man. And Celta are technically in a European place at the moment. Potential Conference League. Crazy. Fuck it. I don't care. Let the bias take over me. 1-0 Las Palmas. Ollie McBurney, the GOAT as well. Ollie McBurney and Anthony Weekend. I will be there. Las Palmas 1-0. They'll get their first win of the year. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. That'll be fucking fantastic. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Now it is time. It is time to talk about the El Toro de la Semana, the bowl of the week. Now, I think there is an obvious pick. He scored 2 goals, scored a very good goal against Villarreal a couple weeks ago now. But it is Kylian Mbappé. Kylian Mbappé has won the El Toro de la Semana, the bowl of the week, with 2 goals against Villarreal. Turned it around because they were losing 1-0 earlier on. But yeah, now, obviously, he is in a very good run of form. And obviously, he did get his 30th goal of the season at last. And people are saying he's been having a bad season. But yeah, overall, it's been pretty good for Kylian Mbappé. Yeah, now let's get showing The Segunda, let me quickly just readjust. All right. I have to kind of scroll up because we did have a few games that happened over the week. Actually, there's 2 match weeks. Let's quickly go over. I'll just quickly glance on the weekend that happened a couple of weeks ago. Oviedo getting a draw 1-1 at home against Elche on the 14th of March. So it's been a long time. It's been 2 weeks already. Racing Ferrol getting a 0-0 draw at home against Eibar. Albacete getting a huge 2-0 win over Malaga. Burgos getting a comfortable 1-0 win. I know they got a red card, but they still won against Cartagena. Almeria getting a 4-1 win at home against Zaragoza, and Zaragoza did sack their manager, I believe, after that game or before that game. I'm not sure. But yeah, he's gone. But now they have a new manager. Cordoba 1-1 against Sporting Gijon. Now you see a lot of red cards here. Elden's getting a 2-2 draw, surprising 2-2 draw against Mirandes. And Mirandes, we'll talk about them. Racing Santander getting a 2-1 win at home against Tenerife. Huesca against Levante was probably a big one, and Levante got the win, an away win 2-1 away at Huesca. Cadiz getting a 1-0 win against Granada. Both teams win La Liga last season, but both went down, and now Cadiz getting that win. And of fucking course, Deportivo La Coruña, we couldn't even fucking beat Castellón, a team that we beat 5-1 back in December. It's typical of us. But then let's actually look at the games from this just most recent weekend. Burgos getting a 3-1 win at home against Almeria, which is a huge win for Burgos. And you'll look at where Burgos are in the league table very shortly. Elche getting a decent-ish win over Eldense. Not really that surprising, but Eldense have been a good run of form. Malaga getting a comfortable 2-0 win against Racing Ferrol. And obviously I'll preview about what will happen this coming weekend. And this is probably the biggest clash of them all. Mirandes against Racing Santander. Mirandes coming back from 1-0 down to win 2-1 against Racing Santander. That is a huge, huge win for Mirandes. You'll see in a minute. Granada, a surprise sort of 1-0 win at home against Real Oviedo. And Oviedo, they're now slipping a bit down in the league table, kind of pulling behind that top 2 automatic spot and potentially could be in trouble of even missing out on the playoff. Levante getting a 3-2 home win against Castellón to continue their very good run of form. Eibar, not Messi, but Eibar did not mess it up. They got a 2-1 win against Huesca, so now Huesca got back-to-back losses as well. Sporting Gijon hosted Albacete and lost 2-0. It was 2 penalties that Albacete got the 2 goals from. And then we have Tenerife beating Cadiz, a big surprise, you would say. A 2-1 win for Tenerife. And motherfucking course, Deportivo La Coruña, we played the fucking worst fucking team in the league, and we failed to beat them both home and away. Fucking failed to beat them home and away. Jesus fucking Christ. But then we can fucking beat Oviedo and Almeria most recently. It's fucking crazy. And we're actually somehow unbeaten in the past 5 games. Stupidly. Mate, it's crazy. And then Zaragoza, Cordoba. I actually did watch this game with Charlie from No Filter. I've seen another one of my friends. Zaragoza getting a 1-1 draw against Cordoba. Not the greatest result. And I do think that Cordoba did deserve the points, at least a point. Now, a little bit quickly, just not a huge preview, but just looking at the games coming up. Tenerife play Granada tomorrow night. Eldense play Burgos, and the Derby, the Derby de los Rios, the Estuaries Derby, the big one. Deportivo La Coruña, we go away at Racing Ferrol. Unfortunately, I'm not going to the game, but I did do a vlog of the home game back in September. Hopefully, we send that fucking team down. Hopefully. It'll be fucking hilarious if we don't. It'll be stupidly crazy. It'll be typical of Depot to do that. But we do play Racing Ferrol. It's a derby. So hopefully we win on Saturday. Racing Santander play Zaragoza. That's a big one for both ends of the table. Cartagena doesn't really matter. Castellon, potentially could get themselves back into winning ways potentially with a game away at Cartagena. Almeria play Levante. Almeria have been a fucking shit run of form. Apart from that win over Zaragoza, they've been really bad run of form. Levante could really continue on a good run of form. Cordoba play Elche, both I think from the south, I believe. Real Oviedo do host Malaga in a huge game for Oviedo to really also turn around their season, or at least that bad one of form they've been on. Huesca, they do play Sporting Gijon. Albacete, they hosting Mirandes. And on Monday night, to kind of wrap up the weekend, is Cadiz against Ibor on Monday night. Now, let's just look at the league table after 2 games of the weekend that's just passed. Right. Here we go. So, obviously, the top 2 do get automatic promotion to La Liga. And at the moment, and I'll do look at the chat, where are Deportivo in the league? Would love to see them come back up. Unfortunately, right now we're 14. I do not think we're getting promoted. But I do not. Well, you'll look at us in the table. I'll eventually scroll down. Don't worry. It's crazy. Yeah, Levante, Mirandes are currently in the top 2. Levante, look, they've been in La Liga like 3 years ago, but they got relegated. Mirandes, from Miranda de Ebro, Mirandes have never ever, and I've been telling this to people, never ever played La Liga football ever. They've never been in the top division ever. They were never supposed to be in this position. They have a 6,000 seater stadium. 6,000 seats. I don't know what's a sort of bigger story, when Ibor got promoted or when Mirandes could potentially get promoted. Like Mirandes, I really hope they do get promoted, even though I do think they'll just go straight back down. But Mirandes, look, they could really, really get into La Liga next season, which would be a crazy, crazy story. So they currently hold the top 2, but only a point behind is Elche in third, and a point behind as well is Racing Santander. Somehow, from 10-point lead at the top to not being in the top 2. It's crazy. With about, where is it? With 10 games to go of the season. There's only 10 games left to go. Huesca and Oviedo do finish off the top 6, but both of them have really, really kind of fallen off in that top 2 automatic race. But now they kind of have to worry that they might even miss out on even the entire playoff. When both of these 2 were actually in the top 2, like 3-4 weeks ago. 3-4 weeks ago, both Real Oviedo and Huesca were in the top 2. They were both the top 2, and now they are potentially not even getting into a playoff. Crazy. Almeria, look, not in great run of form, but still, they are only a point behind from the playoff spot. Granada only a point behind Almeria, so they're in with a shout. I do think it will be I think it will be the top 8. These top 8, I think, will be the teams that will eventually be fighting for that promotion spot. Maybe not the bottom 2, as in Almeria and Granada, in terms of getting automatic promotion, but the playoffs is definitely going to be interesting. Scoring a bit down, 4 points behind 8th Granada is Cordoba. They've been a good run of form now. Burgos have won 4 fucking games in a row, something that motherfucking Depor haven't even done this season. And Burgos were like literally in the relegation battle, and now they're in a shout of getting fucking promotion, getting into a fucking playoff. Oh god, and they're on 45 points. We're minus 5 goal difference as well. Deportivo, we scored motherfucking 14 more goals than fucking Burgos, and we're in 14th. I know, but we're only 3 points behind, so we could, and we're also unbeaten. Like, make the amount motherfucking drop. This is why we have to beat Racing Ferrol on Saturday. One of our rivals, Galician 5. Come on, and then Cadiz, Ibor, and Albacete in between us and Burgos for somehow. We have one of the best goal difference in the league, and we fucking aren't even in the top half now. So hopefully we eventually do, because mate, can we please just string 2 consecutive? Can we at least have 3 straight wins? Can we just have 3 straight wins? We've not even done that this season. We've not won 3 games in a row. Burgos have won 4 in a row. Come on, man. Malaga, only by goal difference, really, is behind us. Sporting Gijon, only a point behind. Castellón, 2 points behind us in 17th. And then it's really, really between Zaragoza and Eldense, I feel like. Maybe Castellón might be dragged in, but it is going to be the bottom 4 that will get relegated. Cartagena, the fucking team we couldn't even fucking beat, are getting fucking relegated. Racing Ferrol, hopefully, please. Come on, man. Come on. We fucking failed to beat Cartagena. Surely we have to be fucking Ferrol, right? And we play Tenerife in about 2-3 weeks from now. We should be being Ferrol, and they should be getting relegated. Tenerife, somehow in a bit of a fight back, but I just think the point will be too much. So I think the bottom 3 right now are going down. It's really between Eldense, Zaragoza, and I'll be honest, I think Castellón are still in it. I think everyone else above Castellón are safe, because I do think consistency in terms of the points will be enough. So I do think it's between Castellón, Zaragoza, and Eldense for the 4th and final relegation spot. Ooh, I'm unsure, but look, if fucking it'll be the most hilarious fucking thing if Zaragoza get relegated. It'll be crazy. But it seems likely it could be Eldense or Castellón. The reason why I say Castellón, I just don't really trust them fully. They aren't that good defensively, even though they do score goals. So we'll see. But yeah, that is it for the Segunda de la Liga second division moment, or recap and preview somewhat. And I will end the poll. I will end it. And after 4 votes, we have is Barcelona against Girona is going to be the live watch along. 3 votes over 1. So yeah, I will be doing Barcelona against Girona on Sunday at 4:15 p.m. Spain time. So I think that's 3:15 UK. And yeah, Ryan G says, I wish we could win 3 games in a row as well. Yeah, for I believe Wolves. Obviously, if it's for Barcelona, doesn't. I mean, they're on a good run of form anyway. But yeah, good luck to Wolverhampton Wanderers. They're not getting relegated. But yeah, overall, it's been a very good show. Like to pick up everyone that's participated, that being AD744 and Ryan G. And yeah, that is it for the show. As I said, please do hit the like button on stream, subscribe to the channel, follow me on X on Twitter as well. And I will be doing a live watch along on Sunday when Barcelona plays Girona in a Catalonian derby on Sunday, 4:15 p.m. Until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.